to it. So, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going into this feature right now. Well, listen.
Hello, I'm Damian Mitchell. The Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the Parliament may have to work 3 times per week to update 600 laws with outdated penalties and fines. Lawmakers have admitted they were left embarrassed last month when reputed gangster Tesha Miller was fined a maximum $100 after pleading guilty to violating an immigration law passed in the 1940s and last amended in 1988. Some 73 people have been arrested for identity fraud since the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency began using a facial recognition software last year. The National Security Minister, Robert Montague, has also reported that 473 people have been identified with multiple passports.
All right, so that was that, ladies and gentlemen, as you could see, coming out of that law, out of that case where Tesha Miller, because of an immigration law that was in force a couple of years ago, from long time, it is a situation now where he was only charged a bills. I'm sure that he's not complaining. We are the ones who are complaining. Tesha would not be complaining for that. He was only charged a bills, ladies and gentlemen. And so we have online with us this morning to discuss that a very experienced attorney coming out of Jamaica, Jeneive Williams. Good morning, Jeneive.
Good morning, Barrelman, and a pleasant good morning to the Barrel Nation family.
Okay, good morning to you too. All right, so as you may have heard that small clip there, coming out of the Gleaner, and I'm sure that you are aware of the situation because you are a very experienced attorney. Tell us briefly about your pedigree as far as it relates to laws of Jamaica and working as an attorney.
Well, I am an attorney who practiced in Sav La Mar, Westmoreland, and I specialize in civil litigation, all land matters, family law, wills and estate planning, contract and company law, personal injury. And indeed, the matter that came out really from Tesha Miller's case really spoke loudly and spoke volumes as to how outdated some of our laws are. And it is an issue that we as citizens need to be concerned about generally.
Okay, so all my Sav La Mar people, all my Westmoreland people, this is your girl, and of course, she deals with all matters that have to do with land. So persons who you in transactions, you see a piece of land that you want to buy, or somebody selling you a piece of land, and call her at any time. We can give that information later on at the end of the program. So yeah, all right. So now let us go into it now. Tell us some of the laws that you have actually come across since I asked you to just take a little look into it. I'm sure that you wouldn't have had time to look into all of them or all 800 of them. But tell us some that would really stand out and be of some sort of interest to the listeners.
Certainly, Barrelman. But before I go into that, I must reinforce that, when laws are put in place, what the purpose and function of these laws is to bring cohesion and to maintain order in society. And so when you have a case like Tesha Miller, who has made a false declaration in contravention of the law and was given a fine of $100, which was a maximum fine under that law, it is like a big joke in the face of the law.
Right.
And this really ought not to be, because where fines are imposed by law, it which really should be a deterrent to any offense.
Yes.
Those fines must promote respect for the law and its processes by reflecting adequately and proportionately. And so when you have a $100 fine for those, kind of offense, it really is a big joke. And there are many laws. There are over 800 laws, as the Honorable Minister Delroy Chuck has outlined, that need to be updated. And the fines need to be updated. I'm just going to go through a few,
Yes.
which, and anybody in Jamaica would have these experiences, and looking at these outdated laws, you'd see the relevance and the necessity for these laws to be updated.
Mm-hmm.
For example, it is no secret about the crime problem that we are having in Jamaica.
Yes.
And of course, the informer for dead culture is also no secret.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the Gun Court Act, and under that act, it provides for protection of witnesses, right?
Yes.
And in the interest of public safety, public order, or public morality, under this law, any witnesses who are called or appear before the court, their name or addresses should be kept confidential in most areas, and this law provides for that. Now, anyone who contravenes this law, Barrelman,
Mm-hmm.
the fine is a fine not exceeding $2,000. Obviously,
Yeah.
this certainly will have an impact also on witnesses
Exactly.
who may want to come forward. Should their identity be revealed and the perpetrator is caught, there's a fine not exceeding $2,000.
Yeah.
What can we get for 2,000? I mean, $2,000. We're not talking about US dollars. We're
Yeah.
talking about Jamaican dollars, which is less than 20 US. It's a minimal amount here in Jamaica.
Right.
And going back to crime, if we look at the Domestic Violence Act and look at the provision for protection order, Barrelman, when there's a protection order in place, it means that a matter has gone before the court, and the court has determined that there's a victim there that needs protection. Now, under this act, if a person contravenes that protection order, meaning they're not supposed to go near a victim,
Yes.
which they have violated and they have done so, there's a fine of 10,000, not exceeding $10,000. I mean, this leaves our women and children very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to highlight women and children in particular, but based on what has been happening, we were seeing where a lot of women and children are being abused.
Yes.
And so a $10,000 fine is really nothing compared to what we are seeing in society.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, uh, it's not only relevant to criminal laws, but it goes to different areas of the laws as it relates to protection of animals, as it relates to land matters. Let's look at
Tell
the
us some of the land
Registration of
ones.
Titles Act.
Right. Right.
Yes, let's look at the Registration of Titles Act. If you look under the Registration of Titles Act, similar to Tesha Miller, in giving a false declaration. Now, if you're making an application for title, you're doing a transfer. If you make a false declaration in any of those land transaction, any application that you're making for titling, the fine is just a minimal fine of a fine not exceeding $1,000. Of course, that is also a joke, because an application of title,
Yes.
Barrelman, is a situation where the law of adverse possession, which is squatting, comes in, where a person may be you own the property, a person may be there and claim that they've been there for 12 years and make an application to get title in their name. The law provides for that.
Yes.
But yet we are seeing, if they have made a false declaration, for example, stating that they've been on the property for 12 years when they were not on it for 12 years,
Yeah.
there's just a minimal fine not exceeding $1,000. That is ridiculous.
Yes, and that is definitely not a deterrent, I think, for them to do
No.
it.
Not at all. Not at
Wow.
all. Not at all.
Wow. Wow.
And when you look at just other things in society, for example, when you look at the Registration of Club Act that deals with obtaining certain licenses for
Spirit
operating
license and them
clubs,
stuff there,
spirit
right.
licenses. the penalty for selling liquor, right, in an unregistered club. So here you are operating an entity that is not registered without a license. The penalty does not exceed 40 Jamaican dollars. I
Like
don't think we
four
can even
zero.
get an, I don't think 40. I don't think we can even get a sweetie for that money, you know? Um, Yes.
What?
So, and if you continue, if you're found guilty and you continue, the fine remains the same. So that is really something that we ought to look into.
Yes,
And
definitely.
it's yes. Um, we can also look at things like the Town and Communities Act,
Yeah.
where you mean one of the things in Jamaica is there may be drunk person roaming the road,
Mm-hmm.
which they become a liability to others and may injure people because of their action. If you're found drunk on the road, there's a fine not exceeding $100. That also is ridiculous,
But are they
right?
arresting young people though? Are they arresting
Well,
young
I
people?
don't know. As a matter of fact, I think under that there's a fine as minimal as $4. That is just to show how outdated the laws are as it relates to fines. Now, as it relates to relevancy of the law, also that's also a different issue that we can get into, because there are some of these laws that are really outdated and need to be
Yes.
revamped.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get rid of them because they're not really relevant. But yes, the issue of the fine is very relevant now. We have seen, based on the cases coming before the court, that law reform needs to be done and our laws need to be updated. It has taken a while. I am not saying that nothing has been done, because we have seen where work has been done to update some of our laws, but certainly more work needs
Definitely.
to be updated. But definitely, we have more work to be done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jeneive. One all right, one final thing. Since you are in the whole matter of land and all that sort of stuff, and persons who are actually in the diaspora
Yes.
will have interest in property and land and all those things in Jamaica. Now, uh, tell us
Yes.
like two things that we need to be aware of if persons approach or we approach persons who claim or say that they own property that they want to sell. What are two things that they should look out for?
Sure. You should make sure that you get proof of ownership. That's the first thing. So proof of ownership may be a title, a common law title. It could be a conveyancing deed, but certainly you need to have proof of ownership. And even though our law stipulates a title is conclusive evidence of ownership, based on where the law in the court is heading, there may be someone with a title who wants or is selling the property but has been dispossessed of that land, meaning there's been someone who has been on there for 12 years or more, and so they have been dispossessed. They're no longer the owner, and these persons can go ahead and make a claim to this property.
Adverse
So the next
possession.
thing, adverse possession, what we call squatting rights. So the first thing to do is to look for proof of ownership. The next thing, even if, I'm saying that to say, even if you've been shown proof of ownership, go to the property, examine the property, make sure there's no one on the property,
Physically go.
because physically go or send somebody to look. Because based on the court, the laws in the court, if even if someone has a title, they may not be the owner any longer,
True.
right? If there's somebody who is there, the law will protect those persons, and the registered owner may not be able to sell that property. So look for the title and go there, send someone and physically look and make sure there's nobody on the property.
Okay, very well. Tell us where persons, if they are interested in dealing with civil matters, land matters, anything that have to do with your specialized area, where can they find you? How can they contact you?
Sure, I can be located at 103 Great George Street, Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland. And my telephone number is 876-918-3553.
All right. Say it again one more time, slower.
Sure, it's 876-918-3553.
All right. And what is your Facebook account?
No Facebook account yet, Barrelman, but
Okay, good.
I'm in the process of putting that up.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Jeneive Sabdal Williams. Thank you so much. And I hope to talk to you again about some other matters concerning those same sort of things, because a lot of persons who actually reside in the diaspora, they see properties that they want to purchase in Jamaica as their vacation home and all sort of stuff. And you definitely, it is good to have a lawyer to deal with those matters for you, right?
Absolutely. Land is something that you don't joke with, and a lot of people sell land like they're selling patties and then they get into trouble. So, when you are doing any land transaction, it is always advisable to seek the services of an attorney at law.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. You see it? It wasn't that bad, not true?
A pleasure. Not at all.
All right, thank you. All
Okay,
right.
bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jeneive Sabdal Williams, an attorney from Sav La Mar. Who's a lawyer don't come from Sav? Big up. Very, very nice lady. Very nice lady. And of course, we'll be doing more things like these. We'll be doing more things like these, you know what I mean, to keep persons informed on laws in Jamaica, you know what I mean. I need to get to some custom laws and those sort of stuff. I need to get some custom laws. Christine, and if anybody want to get in touch with